again, it's that same creative pot that you're from. Okay, where does the story go from here now? Album is out. You've got your debut album out.
Like we seen, okay, now we are convinced that, this thing can actually work. So we start working on 82, which is all our birthdays.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So, and with this project, I was like, now, like,
sorry. What is the biggest song off Scratch Reveal?
The biggest song of Scratch Reveal,
in your perspective?
In my perspective, was like, in terms of the one that people gravitated towards the most, was between Hey and If I Could.
It's time to get up. The time is 7:30. It's time to get up. The time is 7:30.
We could play a little truth or dare. We could find a diamond in your hair. We could travel on the road together. I would give you my heart if I could. I would give everything if I could. Did the sun come up too soon? Did you want to fly around the moon? Did you have a fight and lose your cool? I would give you my heart if I could. I would give everything if I could. We could play a little truth or dare. We could find a diamond in your hair. We could travel on the road together. I would give you my heart if I could. I would give everything if I could.
But like that album had so many different, like, someone played it to me the other day, and once I'm done with a project, I'm done with it. So I rarely listen to it. But then I listened to it, I was like, damn, we were thinking like this in 2000 and like in the early 2000s. And technically it's executed well. So there's a lot of strong songs, but because we didn't have the push, like, I feel like there's songs that could have done even better on that project. It's more of the ideas were too out there for it to be like readily pushed properly here.
You're also very countercultural to the market environment that you are.
Exactly.
For this.
And to be doing that, to be countercultural with no, what we have is still a music scene. We don't have a record industry because those are two different things.
I agree.
And with a scene, is like a scene begets a scene. So this is our nini, we have more like-minded people. What the record industry can do is take something from a scene and push it to a lot more people with more mass. So you reach a wider group of people. And so you think about Niles Barkley. Does that make me crazy?
Yeah, man.
Like, that song, it could have been a music, like a song that stays with the scene, but with the right push, it goes like all over the world.
Yes.
And it's like,
that's South African group that also comes here. It's, you can see the power of what are they called? No, the one when they played at Timo's gig. The festival. Yes. That was sort of their own scene that got back in and went Africa.
Exactly. So even the people I'm talking about, Angelique Kidjo, Amadou and Mariam.
You met Angelique Kidjo, by the way.
Yeah.
When we'll come there.
We'll come to that. But those kinds of things, like, because Kenya has not always been known for its music for a long time. We've had great musicians, and we've had, so that's not to slight the musicians. It's more like, sometimes when people think about music and African music, you think about Nigeria, you think about South Africa, you think about Congo, you think about Mali, and we've never been in like that go-to space.
So even TZ has been the bongo.
Yeah. So when with that, it becomes very hard to push really good ideas. And sometimes I'll listen to songs by artists. I'm like, man, if we had a proper system, that's a song that can go global easy. You just need the money behind it.
Okay. Let's talk now. I'd cut you short to the 82.
Yes.
Let's get back to the 82.
Hey. So 82
Sophomore.
We're like, okay, that's all of us were born, like the three of us were born in 82. We're like, okay. So it felt like an easy name, but then now we're like, the project can't sound like what we did before. We have so many ideas, and we're writing. Like now, I'm making more beats, and like I'm more confident. I'm getting more confidence as a producer. Like Jim as well, Dan as well.
You also individually being known for what you bring. So
exactly.
go to Jim Chuchu, he'll chuchify your photos. Go to Dan for the animation and things like that. Go to Blinky for music production.
But I was still like really learning a lot from them, because it's that kind of peer respect.
You're still at Just a House, huh?
Just a House, yeah. And now Mbithi was like, man, I want to be a part of this. And then we'd started working, and he'd show us the stuff, like visuals he was working on, and I think he was working at a ad agency, and he was showing us a bunch of things he's been working on. And we're like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then like we just started riffing and jamming, and like eventually now he became a part of the system, so he joined Jab.
So man, so he Mbithi, I know Mbithi was a part when you were the four of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, so then we started working on Nini, on ideas. Man, why, like 82 had Save, the first song on it was, on the album was Save My Soul, the second was Hahe. So Musyoka now comes full circle again. It's like, bro, I listened to the project, you guys, the first album, but I think I have a song that can like bring it home. Then he came with the beat to the house and he played it for me. I was like, of course, yeta to be shiny now. So he left it. Then I was like, you know what? Actually, it is right, because me, I'm like, I grew up in Italy. I'm more, in as much as I'm out there, but I'm also very grounded in here. And that sometimes used to be my role as well, is to figure out how to bring things home.
Yes, I hear you.
Because sometimes the ideas could
you
be
guys
like,
were in the sky.
in the sky. So it's like, oh, okay. But ultimately, that it's always the big thing where I always want to be in the sky, but I'm also very interested in connection. How do I talk to you?
Yeah.
How do I make sure that you've heard me and where I'm coming from? So
it's like putting a rope so that guys can still, even though they can come to the sky, giving them access to come to where you are.
Yeah. So we used to live around Adams, and I used to go to Toi a lot just to walk. So I literally never wrote those lyrics down. I was just like, as I'm walking, I'm writing in my head, Kiwasha Nari, Madari, Taonja Vibari. It's like, it's very street.
Oh!
Yeah.
So hold on, Musyoka brought you just the Ha hey, just the
Yeah,
chorus.
he had Nini had the chorus,
Oh,
but the
verses.
verses
Okay.
was me.
Oh, nice.
So what's the story behind?
So as we are working with P-Unit's album, I do this track. I remember I was in a matatu living at a center. I'd left my car at my mom's place, so I was like, let me just jav. So I enter a matatu, then this melody just came. So I recorded it on the phone. So I go back to the studio, then
How did it come? Like what did it sound like?
just the way it is. To, 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 ro, 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 dum, 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 dum. So I got in the studio quickly, like about 10 minutes later. It wasn't far. So I just played it on the keyboard and stored it. Then the following day I came and now started fleshing it out and adding things here. Then I just mixed Scratch to Reveal for Just a Band the previous year. So there's a project Coca-Cola had signed on P-Unit to do. So I was thinking that I could give them this track for that project. But even the project, I mean, we never finalized it. I think it was dropped at some point. So this track just sat and it already had the chorus. Hey, I'd recorded the chorus, I'd recorded everything. So one day I'm just chatting with Billy, he's like, yeah, we're about to finish our album. So yeah, we'll bring for you to finish for us some songs. I'm like, I think I have the perfect song. Because I was like, when the drum pattern I did for this track, I was like, there's no way this song fits P-Unit. It doesn't have the P-Unit personality. So I gave it to them and Bill went and did his stuff onto it. Then Jim and Bithi conceptualized the video with Dan, and as they say, the rest is history.
But I was like, I don't even know what I want to say on this song, but I want it to be like when you hear it, it like gives you energy, because that's the vibe I got from the beat. I was like, as soon as he played it, and that's like big credit to Musyoka, because he knows. Is a very almost like people call him the Dr. Dre of Nini, but it is. I feel like that's a very good comparison in a sense, because Dr. Dre will make beats for Eminem, will make beats for Tupac, will make beats for Snoop,
Gaga.
will make beats for Gaga, will make beats for Mary J. Blige, and they all fit the vibe of this person. So I'm not sounding like P-Unit, I'm not sounding like Nonini, I'm not sounding like. And he says that he gave it to P-Unit and they were like, this it's not ours.
Yeah.
But me, as soon as I heard it, I was like, yes, this is it. We recorded it.
Tukiwasha nare
Madhari taonja vibare misinate sibabi nko tu katikati sitaki kusikiza stories za charity nipe wings need fire gravity. Yeah, so it's like also it's literally everything. Misinate misibabi nko tu katikati. As like that's the perfect descriptions. Like I'll go anywhere and I can fit in. Sometimes people can, and that's what I always wanted to feel with Jab, is like we don't have to be anything we are not. And so like we ended up also writing a bunch of other songs for that project, Migingo Express, which I really wanted this guy called Dola Kabari to be on. So I played the harmonica on that. I think there's a harmonica here. So it's like it's like
No.
and I called Dola Kabari to come to the house.
First of all, who taught you how to play a harmonica, homie?
Man, this is one of my favorite things.
That is so dope. Oh, just me.
So
Why would I have ever bought myself a monitor?
so it's like, and talked to him and played him the song, and then he was like, yeah, but and then he was like, it didn't really fit for him, so I ended up singing it.
Yo 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 Migingo tumanda marwa katu wachango Migingo tumanda marwa katu yuagyaye Yo 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 yo.
As like
Migingo Express now.
Migingo Express, and like literally that was always me on the lookout, just trying to figure out who can fit on this song and who can also bring it. And sometimes people see the vision, sometimes people don't, and it's fine too, because now I hear that song, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm actually really glad that I sang on it.
Yeah.
Because again, that's a still life showing me, man, just believe in yourself a lot more.
So let me ask you, so what was the first single of 82? You're saying it was...
The first single of 82. Oh, yeah, there was also Half and Puff.
Yeah.
There was also...
Was that single? But that wasn't single number one.
That was not single number one. Man, what's on the 82? Where's my 82?
Does it have...
The first single on 82 was not High. I don't think it was High.
Okay, anyway, we'll. So, but wait, hold on, let's find out. It was not Half and Puff.
It was not, Half and Puff was probably the last one.
It was not Usinibo.
Was Usinibo. Usinibo was the first Nini.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do. I can change the world. Just because I'm an African with black skin, it doesn't mean that I won't win if I try. It doesn't matter where you've been, what you've seen, what you know. I know I'm gonna win. I got the heart of a champion. I'm champion. So don't tell me what I can and can't do. I can change the world. Can't reign forever, can't be bad forever. Can't reign forever, can't be bad forever. Can't reign forever, can't be bad forever. Can't reign forever, forever, forever.
Was the first single.
First single.
And that one was a bit... okay, let's talk about Usinibo.
Usinibo was coming from...
Because now you're done with Scratch to Reveal.
Yeah.
You want something new. And that
Something
one's...
new.
Yeah.
Like, that was more like going into the house tip. And also we just come from post-election violence.
Yes.
And like I produced that, and although you can feel like some sense of angst in that song and anger, because I was like, man, we entrust our lives into the hands of politicians and they keep screwing us over all the time, like always. And so that song was just frustration for that point. It's like, how I'm someone from Nairobi and I have a voice and I want the world to hear it. And sometimes it just feels like there's probably not gonna be any way for my voice to be heard. So literally that song captures that and captures, it was like a V for Vendetta. We were watching the movie V for Vendetta at the time.
The video was crazy.
The video was,
The video for this video was crazy.
It was like how to figure out dance and those kinds of things. But the essence of that song was just, man, like I feel like someone from here can also have a voice that can have global impact. It might not be me, but I'd love to see one of us represent in the global stage in that sense and have like so you know that the success does not always have to come. We see the like Matt Damons or the Brad Pitt or like any of those superstars from there. Like we can also have something to say. And yeah, so that was the first one. Then we launched the album.
Oh, then you launched the album before doing Her Hair.
Before we did doing Her Hair. I remember
and you launched it. So I remember getting this one. I think it was on a flash disc or something.
No, that's the third one.
Oh yeah, okay, that's the third one. Yeah.
So the Nini was, I was like, man, how do we, for this next project, grow and become?
Oh yes, that's the third one. The second one was
grow this project, and then we went to. I think we were being sponsored by one of the big stations here, and I gave them high. This was like 8 months before. I was like, I feel like this song has something that can resonate really well, because I know the ideas that I don't expect everyone to latch onto, but I can also see the ideas that I think this is an easy song.
Yeah.
So I gave it to them, and they were sponsoring the show, and this now is what made me lose faith in the system as we know it, because like Sasa will sponsor the show, but we won't play this song because it's Afrofusion. So like, then why are you on board sponsoring the show and not literally giving us money, but giving us
media coverage?
But if you're not gonna get behind it, they're like, okay, so they said Z. Then when the video comes out, the first people to call me to take the song back to them is these guys. I was like, man. And that's just representative of Minis, where we have so many followers.
And it's frustration.
So many followers in leadership positions, where
that's very many followers in leadership positions. That's very true. So let me get this. Let me break what you've just said down. You've got somebody sponsoring your gig as the media sponsor. I want to let people know there's this gig happening and everything. Of course, as part of sponsoring the gig, play one of the songs which is going to be on the album that we're about to launch. They're like, no, we're not playing this because it's Afrofusion. That song then goes and blows up and becomes one of the biggest songs and video.
It's the first viral video in
Kenya. And then they're like, oh, can we please have it so we can play it? That is just so down.
And like that literally just showed me the kind of space we are in general, where I'm a risk taker. I'll take, in terms of, I'm never afraid to take risks when I really feel it, and I'll trust my gut in that sense. But easily that Nini could have. But everything, sometimes I also believe that things happen in the way that they're supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So it's not to apportion blame, but if you live a life of fear, you're always gonna operate from a place of fear.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I was not crazy about. So he's like, okay, we'll do it. Then we were like, one day I was.
First of all, how was the launch? How did the launch go?
The launch went super, bro. We did it at Go Down, and so many
Super
people.
is an understatement. That thing was so packed.
It was packed.
It was so packed.
And again, it's just a story of people who, like, we have our audience, we have the people that care about our work, and those guys came out.
October 2009.
Exactly. Sheesh, that's a lot. That's
11 years ago.
such a long time ago. And I remember that Nini so fondly, and I've seen a bunch of photos, and you can actually see how far we've come from, how far I've come from, just if you look at those photos. But that night for me was such a good night because I think we played Half on Puff for the first time, and they made us repeat it 3 times. Played Ha Hey for the first time. Can you imagine, like, you're at a concert and you're hearing Ha Hey for the first time? It's like,
No, that's madness.
it was sick. That was such a good show, and we had like confetti drop from the people were, like, I love.
And you brought your creativity into that show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because we
Now
were,
we had a proper band.
like, we had a proper band, and I think that's always something that I want, man. It's like, if I play a show, I want people to go home happy. So it's like, it's always the thing that drives me. It's like, when we have a show, on even for my own solo live shows, like, people have fun at those shows when they come out, because it's like, you if even if you don't know anyone, but you come to that show,
Yeah.
you feel like you know each other.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like the community of curious people, the community of open-minded people, the community of people that love music. And
You know, back in the day when there were hippies,
Yeah.
I feel like that's who you guys are. I'm serious. It's just that the hippiness has been changed into this new just a band sound.
Yeah.
But it's the same vibe.
Yeah.
There's love, there's
Yeah.
joy, there's guys having fun.
People, yeah.
You get what I mean?
And the audience feels like a part of the show
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. But I also feel like it's a school. There was a lot of, you guys were doing a lot of things on stage that were not conventionally being done
Yeah.
by other musicians.
Yeah.
It wasn't the normal. There were those 1 or 2 things that you guys would always do, which was almost waiting for a hologram to come up or something. You get what I mean?
Budgets, bro. Budget.
Okay, let's talk about this, because if I don't talk about this, I'll just be killed by people. Now, not just your fans maybe want to hear the stories, because this one they're just like that. We were just letting you into our just a band, into ours. But Ha Hey, woo-hoo, woo-hoo.